sometimes in this seat assignment, people get in touch with you and want you to speak like one-on-one with them. And I tend to be a little reluctant to that because the principles are the point. Yeah, it's not an application to a specific situation, and basically a very broad take on what's going on, and saying what's really the most influential aspect of what's going on is what's not noticed, the underlying base. And sometimes when there's a one-on-one, it makes that sense of me and you and stuff like that. Yeah. And so a lot of times I'd rather just have people come to the talk. What happens, because the solution isn't personal. That's the beauty of it. And the problem is about being a person. It's not personal. It's It's about being a person. Because whatever problem you've ever been engaged with, someone else is. The great thing of in recovery, the relief from alcoholism and addiction, is that everybody has gone through what you think you've gone through, and the real heaviness of what we go through is it's the idea that it's you going through it and you shouldn't be going through it, or some expectation. And that the question is always why, but you could just add another word, why not? Like some people got sick, some people don't get sick, some people says that. So the idea of if the personal is part of the real flavor of the problem, you don't want to address or direct the solution to that. You want to put the personalness into review. So this is the beautiful message of non-duality. It's just offering a way of looking at things that may not be familiar or available, or it's never came up for certain people, but when they hear it, there's something that happens, and something clicks. And then from that point on, as a great master said in one of our pirate Zoom meetings, maybe, Ramana, which is, your head is in the tiger's mouth. Yeah, so you've already gone. It's already too late to back out. The process has started. Yeah, and it's beautiful, really. So the idea is really not about the problem, but the sense of the Maya of the problem. Who is it or what is it that has the problem? Yeah. Because if you see there's 30 problems and you've had trouble with all of them, probably the trouble is from the Maya problem. Yeah, the ownership of the problem. Yeah. So the personalness would be each and every problem, that feeling, and then what's looked at is the personalness as the cause or the addition to whatever problems are bringing about. Yeah. And once you start getting relief from here, you'll see you'll travel lighter through problems. And then, so the tree produces a fruit, and you know the tree by the fruit. Yeah, so you get relief, and you get a little clue that you're onto something, and then satsang can sort of feed that, and your own life becomes like the drawing board, and you start recognizing stuff you used to look from. You start seeing it from somewhere else, not an altered state or profoundness, just basically like here you are for a long, long time, and suddenly there's a stepping back. You didn't know you could step back. Yeah, and you don't step back as the you. You step out of the you back from it. Yeah, and now that which you used to start from, you start seeing in your head, just like we see thoughts that we don't want to have. We hear sounds we don't want to hear. We see shit that we don't want to see. A lot of the experience or the event of this place is involuntary. We don't have a choice. You could swear I'm not going to see a bird today, but if you look out a window, you may see a bird. Yeah. So this whole idea of not putting so much attention on the problem and next week or this or that, but just seeing who is the subject this like shadow that's cast by the claiming of whatever's going on to imply it's happening to me or I'm doing it and stuff. Yeah. And once you start seeing it from here, really the gig, the gig's up, so to speak. Yeah. You start seeing it and it's almost like you can't unsee it. Something rushes in and says, oh, I lost it, but you see that. So that which used to imply and verify things as you or from you, you see as bogus. That's all simple. And what happens is you'll find out. Who would want to ruin what it's going to be like? Because it's really revelatory and it's completely not the way you ever thought it could possibly be. It's a loss of interest, really. You lose interest, not so much in things, but you lose interest in the thing that's interested in things, yeah. You lose interest in the topic called Paul. And man, your sight gets corrected, truly. You now see blue is blue and red is red, as they say in Zen, it becomes very obvious and clear, not through any effort or achievement, which demands maintenance after the achievement, but just as a natural condition. It's arising. And it's always been available before all the other arisings. Yeah. The dilemma with the addiction to this idea of being Paul is the interest and attention is on the other arisings. And so you're missing, it's like the fish swimming in water its whole life and missing the sense of water. Yeah. It sees everything else in the water and everything that's provided by the water, but it doesn't ever get the sense of the water. Well, this is what happens. You get the sense of the water. And then when you look at every fish, you see you as a fish, so to speak. You're no different than the other fish swimming around. And that loss of interest migrates. I don't think it's attention, really, because attention is always there. Yeah. It's what we attend to, but the attention is at attention all the time. It never, there's no relaxing of attention because it's not stressed. It's just awareness, attention. Now, the interest that seems to direct the attention is now migrated from the obsession with this idea of being Paul and Paul's life and Paul's relationships and Paul's money and Paul's this and that to something, I don't know, find out. Let's just say other than Paul. So there's a loss of interest in Paul, and there's plenty of interest. Paul keeps on cooking. Yes, it just keeps on cooking. It's not like, because it has nothing really to do with you. It's a mental activity, yeah? But now, the inordinate amount of attention that was put on that has migrated. And now you see it sort of like if you've ever done a Zoom, there's these 20 people in the Zoom, but they're all in individual squares, but the individual squares are in a square, yeah? So the square is holding the other 20 squares. And then there's one square. So you can see the obsession would be self, the one square, and seeing every other square sort of as less than this one square, yeah? And then sort of waking up would be starting to see, hey, there's other squares. And then the real clarity is when you see the square that's holding all the other squares. So now you've left the content and now you're picking up the context. And the context is, I feel, what Jesus was talking about. You're in this world, but you're not of this world. We're of this context, yeah? We're not of the content. We're in the content, seemingly, we're appearing, but what we're really looking for comes from the of, yeah? We're not gonna find it in another square, because if you could have found it in your own square. It's not like these individual squares aren't what we're really looking for. What we're looking for is what's looking, and that's the context. It's that space that's holding the 20 different squares that seem to think they're an individual square. Yeah, so this isn't like a kumbaya that I'm gonna see these people that look quite different with a different backdrop and shit like that. I don't think it works that way. You just see the overall context that's holding all the squares. So now the differences don't have to unite they're united contextually. Yeah, so I don't think we're meant to see people just like we see ourselves. Or why would this be happening? But you can see you and other people in the context. Yes. So I would say it's it's like a panoramic scene instead of a myopic scene. And self-centeredness is the program that takes the scene and turns it into a myopic scene. Yeah. So now you're just, everything that's happening is seen as how it pertains to you. Yes. And so now you're living in a very, very tunnel-like effect. Now, having a sense of both these, myopic and panoramic, you see that the myopic, to be everything, cannot admit there's a panoramic. Yeah. But the panoramic quite clearly sees there's a myopic appearing. Yeah. Which is beautiful. So the myopic continues. There's no, you don't get a call to arms. I've got to stop what I'm actually not even doing, because you're not going to stop what you're not doing. You don't have any control over the lever. When the mental processes become aware of, through awareness of something, they act in a claiming mode to claim that, to imply or reinforce the story of Paul. Yeah, that's all it does. But it does, it's not you. You are not doing it. It's not a volitional state. So when some people start feeling really free, their head gets confused when the head keeps going on, because they think, well, the head is me, and so if I'm free, the head should be free. The head is not you. It's sort of like you're on a distant planet with a whole suit, yeah, and the suit is interfacing with this new experience, yeah, and the suit is translating what's happening based on its programming, and then it lets you know certain stuff, yeah, but you are defined in a way by the suit, yeah, and so when you feel super great, the suit doesn't, in a way. The suit has its own little thing going on, and if you link your little, wagon to that, you're going to be thinking, well, I've got to stop judging. Well, try it. You can't stop judging. That's how the whole way the system works, is by looking at this and comparing it to someone else, and then this. Yes, this or that, and then desire, hate, whatever. So, or I'm not going to get resentful today. You're resentful in 5 minutes. It just doesn't work. What you see is you're not that. Yeah. So you're not that which sees things in a resentful way. Hallelujah. Yeah. I can come to live with that. Yeah. The burden of responsibility of all this shit I want to avoid, which causes me to look for some fucking immediate relief, and that's the driven or the drive of addiction. I don't want to know, when you'd hear like statements, oh, you're the source of all light, you're the beauty of all beauty, and then you experience the day you had, you're going, wait a minute. In a self-centered modality, the only way you could think that or make sense of it is, what did I do to fuck this thing up? And you know what? I don't want to know, because I have no power over it. I'd rather just be ignorantly blissful, because there is bliss in ignorance. Because the more responsibility I take on shit I had nothing to do with, the more fucking burden and shame it can be produced with. Yes. So we don't want to know a lot about shit, because it's just another burden, because, oh, I'm doing that. I didn't know I was passing. It's all this shit that I'm doing. I feel bad enough. Yeah, but the great solution is, finally, there can be a fearless recognition of what's going on, because you're not recognizing you. You're recognizing something other than you. And I have, we have a thing in recovery, in AA and stuff. You do an inventory on basic things, yeah. And a lot of people have a lot of trouble doing it, but they have no trouble taking a fearless and thorough inventory of someone else. They just sit there, they can write it right up. But when they're asked to look at themselves, it's like months go by. It's just, why? Because there's something that doesn't want to be seen. Some activity that's going on that doesn't want to be seen, And its power is based on our not knowing it, really. Yeah. So we know through it, but we don't know it. Yeah. And so this is a recognition of that little idea of the nominal subject or the noun or the thing that has all the attributes of spirit and all this. You recognize there's a relinquishment, or actually what it just dissipates of ownership. That's all. Yeah. And you start out maybe small, like when these ideas first hit me, one of the first effects or way it was presented was, oh, these are alcoholic thoughts. And I saw alcoholics are quite shared, so there was some relief. Yeah. As soon as I saw the same thought that was making me feel incredibly claustrophobic as something other than my thought, there was some space, yeah, some possibility, yeah. And so therefore that grew, and then it spread it over all the thoughts. And I saw that thoughts are not mine. There's a thought that they are mine. Yeah, come on in, bro. I think there's a seat right behind Tommy or something like that. Or the recycle bin. Yeah, down there, John of God. You got to recycle your name, John of God. No, not working now. Yeah, so this satsang is just to present a possibility. We don't have any dog in the hunt. I just feel compelled to share it because it works. That's all. And there's no way the insanity that drove me could be so subdued. Yeah. It couldn't be subdued by police. It couldn't be subdued by fucking getting run over twice by the same car the same night. Nothing could fucking subdue it, and yet something has. And what allowed that condition to extend has definitely been a way of life for recovery, but really more importantly, the illuminating light of non-duality. Yeah, when I saw that I'm not that which has defeated me, the possibility of being free from it became irrelevant. And what was handcuffing me to the problem was I kept being identified as that which has defeated me, which gave it ample opportunity to continue to defeat me and to have a future based on this defeating me. Yeah. It's an incredible disguise because many people do not know they're in the act of being identified as a self. They don't. Yeah. And this is the thing. So let's say you're way, way, way gone from there, then the personalness needing help is very, very paramount. The closer you are to the programming of it or the broad principle of it, there's less and less of the personalness of thought or effort is needed. You just see at that point. You see the activity. You don't do anything about it. You just see it. And in the awareness of it, something gives, I don't know, there's space for it to go a different way. And then you just have a lot of gratitude for the results. And you have wonder and awe through the process because you have sentience. You're sitting here and you're realizing something is doing through me and through others what I couldn't do for myself, which was stay sober a day at a time or fucking live life successfully. And I mean just basic success of not getting arrested, let's say. So yeah, it's been a huge upgrade. And then the ability to enjoy peace of mind, feeling this conscious presence. Your starting off point is contentment and satisfaction, not irritable restlessness and discontent. You're not beholden to time as once you were. You're not mistaking a future arrival at where you already are. Yeah. You're not plotting any course to get somewhere you can never not be. Yeah. So you're not looking for what can't be found. You never get gypped. You're here completely. Sleeping, awake. Yeah. I don't sit around looking out windows going, oh, if I only know. Just I was looking out windows, checking out the bird life going off, you know. So much shit happening all the time. And if your attention's up for grabs, you won't believe what can grab it. Yeah. The other thing, that the attention to self is just slavery. It really is. When it's up for grabs, life can just pull your attention and you start seeing coincidences and choreography and you see artistic flair. It doesn't matter if it's there or not. That's the beauty of the expression. You see something, you can feel that unseen hand in your life and you can see it in others. So, I can go more into definition, but the basic thing of the mental, when we say mind, we don't mean mental. Mental processes of the body, the brain, let's say. Yeah. So the mental process, its main drive is to claim. That's what it does. So life happens, and then the mental state arises and claims what's happening to imply there's a someone, either doing it or done to by it. Yeah? So they're seeing, and it comes up in a second with seer. So they're seeing, attentive awareness, yeah, your own nature being what it is, and then a second or two later, you're the seer. Yeah, that's pictured as a thing who's seen a lot and is gonna see a lot. Yeah, same thing, hearing, hearer, feeling, feeler, taster, taster, tasting, taster, thinking, thinker, doing, doer. Yeah? And it seems like there's no gap between them, but that's just the delusion of it all. There's a big gap. Yeah? They're seeing, and then the mental state arises. It can seem like an eternity sometimes when there's just a seeing. And you can see like the cavalcade of the seer coming. And then it gets out and tries to claim it, but all the while they're seeing it. Yeah. So you never lose the sense of being the seer, seeing, even when you see the seer get produced. Yeah. Where before, when the seer was produced, I forgot I was seeing, and I thought I was the seer. Now you see, you've come out of us almost like a coma, and now you see like the anesthesia before you get it. So what goes under ain't you, which is beautiful, really beautiful. Yeah, it is. So now seeing, ding, see a story. Yes? Hearing, ding, hear a story. Feeling, ding, feel a story. And instead of living life from an interpretation, you start living life from living. Yeah? Like you finally, your seeking hand finally found the wrist and got the feeling of the pulse of living instead of being here. I thought I felt it once. So I hope I'll feel it. No, you're there. And then the idea of being out of the moment seems completely ludicrous. So there's no need to get into the moment. You don't need to do tons of, you may want to, but you don't need to do exercises to arrive at where you already are. And there's a sense, no matter how many people change in these squares, the contextual square doesn't. It's empty. It's not based on if someone appears in it or not. It's just a space for whatever happens. So right now we call it a Zoom space, and this square now has 20 little characters. Yeah. And then some of them will leave. Does any of the contexts leave when they do? No, someone else shows up and fills in the little space, but the space is the same. The space isn't made up by what fills it or what leaves it. It's space. Well, we are of that. Yeah. When you close your eyes, don't you feel like something is like lights popping on your eyelids inside? You're seeing really then when you're not seeing anything. They're still seeing. Yeah. Yeah. You're seeing like infinity at the time. It's not like everything shuts down. No, when you're not seeing anything, is there still seeing? Yeah, and sometimes the best time to see the seeing is when you're not seeing anything. Yeah, that's it. It's seeing. So the seeing, what's seeing comes and goes, but the seeing doesn't. Yeah, that's the beauty of it. Don't you get a feeling of it? You get a feeling after a while. And that a feeling promotes an assurance in all the helter-skelter and shenanigans can happen on the surface. Yeah. Right now, I've had a long stretch of not much should happen in my life. It's sort of, yeah. But it doesn't matter how much turbulence is on the surface. None of it sinks to the bottom. By the time it sinks to the bottom, it's been completely changed. Yet the bottom doesn't change the whole bit. Yeah. So at least you can see, just look at the influence of the word "my" on what comes after thoughts. Yeah. Let's just say money. Money. Everyone will give it a meaning. I'll change the whole word by not changing any letter of it. My money. It changes everything. Yes. Why not you start recognizing the footprints are all over. If you're, you want to smell out a trail, it's all there. The whole thing is right where you are. The difference between something and my something is huge. Now, did that meaning come from the something or the my? This is a subjective experience. The object experience is not adding on to it. It's the subject that's misseeing it like crazy. Yes? The pseudo subject. So it's a subjective experience. Oh, what do you mean by that? Well, maybe you had a story of the worst thing that ever happened to you for years, and you blame everything on it, your failed marriages and shit. If only that wouldn't have happened. Then something occurs, and let's say you get introduced to recovery, you realize that was the best thing that ever happened to you because it brought you to your first meeting. Yeah. Now, what was it? Was it the worst thing? And did it go through an incredible transformation to become the best thing? No, because everyone who saw it wouldn't say that's the worst thing. And everyone who saw it wouldn't say it's the best thing. It's completely subjective. So something is, this is not an objective interpretation. It's a subjective rendering of what's happening. Your life is a subjective rendering. And something that isn't the true subjectivity is playing the role of subject. And you're getting to see it as it wants you to see it. Wouldn't it be good to have at least a cart in front of the horse or a horse in front of the cart so you could just see? It's so, see, everyone wants to see, like, unbelievably. And the big elephant in the room is the carts in front of the horse. If you just could, yeah. I just had a friend, and I love the guy. He came over and he had a book, and beautiful. She wanted to read me 4 paragraphs. So beautiful Buddhist stuff. We would have lost most people in the first sentence. They got into, I didn't even know some of the words. The first sentence, like, what does reify mean or something like that? So we went off and off and off and off. I said, that's incredible. Yeah, but why not just see who is it? Yeah, why not just, because that's the main, that's the center of the juice. Yeah, who is it? Are you a noun or are you verbal? It's pretty distinct. Yeah, am I a thing doing something, or is there just a whole lot of doing something? Yeah, can change everything without changing anything. That's the beauty of it. That's the role we play here, is giving everything all the meaning it has. Put it to a test instead of reading an old format that's been downloaded. Fucking scrub. You don't do anything. Just scrub the programming, delete, and let some new shit come in. Yeah. Yeah. So hey. Anyone have any questions today? Oh, there's Angie. I've been missing Angie. She's set off an epidemic of smiling in Ontario. Very nice. Yes, you're patient zero, Angie. Fantastic. Ontario needs some more smiling. All right, anyone out in the Zoom?
Sean has his hand up.
And can you hear it?
Not yet, it's muted.
All right.
Hey, Paul, nice to see you today.
Yes, thank you.
Love the message, man. My question is, how do I know if I wrote it down. I see where I'm trying to be a non-person as a person. It's like I have knowledge of the law, but not the spirit of the law. However, there are moments I have peak experiences regularly. But those, of course, dissipate. They pass like everything else. They come and go. But how do I know if self is manifested and I'm trying to be a non-person as a person? That's kind of the question. I've been struggling with it.
Yeah, you know already, and which wants to know is the thief taking a role of the policeman. Yeah. You know already. Just rely on that, and then you'll see the tree by its fruits. Yeah. Put your money on that bet. Let's say it's roulette. Now, for me, I put my money on 39 black. I haven't taken it off for 20-something years. It doesn't matter who comes in or the weather out there, but the same bet. Yeah, and it doesn't matter, really. It matters to the policeman aspect of the head. It doesn't matter. You're seeing the whole shit, everything. And the peak experiences can have a meaning, not about the peak experience. They may give you, it's sort of like if you saw a picture of a pie, you may be able to imagine the pie, yeah? So there's a free sample, but so you get a free sample at the experiential counter, but the real thing is not an experience, yes? But how you get a taste of it is through an experience counter, because how can you imagine anything else anything other than experience? That's what we're all seemingly here for. And it's really a huge addiction is an experience. So this is about a state that can't be known, but it can be intimated. Yeah.
Okay. You know how it is. I just want to stay in that peak experience all the time and think that that's where I'm supposed to be.
That's simple. See, you're not that wants to stay in the peak experience. That wants to stay in the peak experience was not in the peak experience.
Right. Right.
I'm serious. It wasn't there. It came later. And usually its appearance coincides with the diminishing of the peak experience. It's like the idea of a party, but when you get there, it sucks. That's what happens. Don't you see?
I've seen it where as soon as self saw that there was a peak experience going on, it tried to claim it, and as soon as it claimed it, it disappeared.
Exactly. That's what happens. Yeah. With epiphanies a lot. You'd be in some event, something intervened, and you were brought back to a childlike state. Your physical, I had witnesses, your physicality changed. You didn't look like the person. And then everything's going off. Then I'd hear something and it's saying, I'm having an incredible experience. Claiming of it. The epiphany was like the head of a dead wild, fucking wild game from Africa put on the spiritual mantle. You know what I mean? We called up 800 epiphany. I've got a big one today.
Yeah.
I was in fucking Bali under a waterfall. Like, hey, sounds good. Keep going. I have two witnesses. Oi! That's very spiritual resume. One of them was a kid. Oh, that's very good.
Right on. All right.
When this message echoes, the walls it hits are your own experiences and observations. You've seen it all. You've seen what doesn't work over and over and over again. There was no way knowing it mentally you didn't hear the click in the door. The lock didn't open. But when you sense it, It's always been open. It's like the gateless gate. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Some guy just asked me to do something. And so I said, yeah, this book may illuminate people to see there's more gateless gates than they think. So there'll be larger room to enter the gateless gate. Yeah. It's a little joke, but it was part of it. So how many gateless gates are needed?
God.
So yeah, bro, I understand. And see, the desire to have that which it never had is like the drive of the selfing. The selfing is the desire to become and unbecome. It believes you're something that you're not and may want to unbecome that. And it believes you're something, yeah, that you want to be, that you may already be. So it has a desire to become and unbecome. And it's like a slinky. The desire to become gives momentum to the desire to unbecome. So it's its own engine, just the movement. Desire, unbecome, become, unbecome, become. Yeah. And I feel that's the original thing. Like they say in typical Buddhism, the Four Noble Truths, they say desire is the cause of all suffering. Well, which is the initial or the, you know, like the initial desire of the head is the desire to become and unbecome. Yeah. It wants to unbecome a feeling, it believes it's feeling, it wants to become something else. And it just goes on and on and on. And it's like the picture in Tibetan Buddhism of the hungry ghost, where there's this huge thing with a huge belly, but a very small mouth. It can never get fulfilled. We've all felt that. I felt that with the angst of addiction. Yeah, it's the emptiness with the hopes of this imaginary idea of fullness was terrible. It was like it was an incomprehensible, pitiful demoralization.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I ran out of, I had about a pound or so of Coke. I ran out and I had like a quarter gram left. I was exactly like the hungry ghost. I was so fucking flipped out. Yeah. I'm left to this? Yes. It had all down to this, and I was fucking rabid. It made every day, it made everything worse because now I had a sense of entitlement about just doing a quarter gram. I fucking deserve at least an 8-ball and all this shit. And there I was a bum and I had no money. People, I'm not giving you any fucking Coke. This isn't in its own little theater. They all apply. Spiritual addiction is doesn't have the same accessories, but it's driven by the same drive.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it's like the same jockey that rides a lot of different horses. Yeah. And then you think the spiritual horse is going to be different. And then you find out, sadly, it isn't. And it doesn't provide interventions usually. You know, no one's breaking into this meeting and say, okay, Chris, you've had enough. Come out, drop that DVD, come off the Wi-Fi. You know what I mean? This is gonna go, we could be here for hours and shit, you know? At least in, you know, addiction, someone usually intervenes. Either the police, in my state, it mostly was the police, family members, whatever, yeah? But spirituality can just be like a drip, 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 drip. Without knowing it, you can be clear of tons of shit without being clear on this. You can have an HD camera that doesn't see it's not the camera. You can be super clear and not be clear about this. That's why I feel it needs to be shared. It doesn't come about in a natural process. I was doing what you would think would open up this opportunity of non-duality. I was doing it diligently, meditating 13 hours a day in some fucking forest place in Chiang Mai area. Yeah, this idea never came through. I had to hear it out from someone outside. I swear to God. And how I saw it after I heard it, it was like I was in the oceans drowning, thinking I was doing a nice back, and this lady giving the talk was throwing me a preservative, really, to get me out of this, which I thought, no, she saw it as what it was. And she gave me a way out. And then all that fucking shit stopped. And the only thing that has supported it, if anything, is entertaining it and then satsangs. I've been to a lot of Paul Hedderman talks. I have over the years. Haven't missed the one. That's a lot of satsang. So, I mean, yeah. So yeah, it's nice to see you, bro.
Thanks, Paul.
The thing that wants the peak experience isn't you. It presupposes that it was the one who experienced it, and now it's mourning the loss of it. Do you see it? It's all made up.
Okay. Yep, you're right. Spot on. Yeah.
Or the second aspect, usually then there's clear sailing, unless it just duplicates again and then flips back to the thief and policeman. But after you see the two, the ones don't work usually anymore. So yeah, it's a set. So there's policeman starts viewing you as the thief, and now you live under the policeman's view. Yeah. Then when you see that, it may appear again, but after a while you'll see it's a couple. They both appear. Yeah. So there's what reacts to the seeing, and then what reacts to the reaction to the seeing. It's duality. Yeah. The seeing is happening, and the dualistic event is a reaction to it and a reaction to the reaction.
Yes.
The thief and the policeman. You see both of them. Yeah, and then it can only do. There's not the commandante. There's two basically, and yeah, and so this whole message is non-duality. So the message is you're not that which is aware of the thief. What says it's aware of the thief comes from the same fabric of the policeman, the policeman, thief, policeman. So now you've seen both sides of the bug, and then you see there is no bug. Instead of living on this wing and then trying to go back to this wing and then back to this wing. Yeah. It's tangible, it's tactile. You just had it. You said it, and then it was a couple of seconds, and then you said, it's real view. I want to stay in that peak experience, and there you go. You've seen it now. It took a little while, but the second face popped up, and then
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. This is what happens when a lot of people I've met, they've done tons of stuff to shake this shit up and stuff. But they get caught with the high-level policeman thing, where they're fucking not enjoying any kind of sense of real relief and peace, even though they've touched so many fucking high feet and shit like that. And it can only be because they haven't seen the non-duality of it, in a way. They thought, all they needed to see, they're not that, and this is what they really are. But it's not this or that. Yeah. Yes. All right. Thanks.
Thanks, Sean. David Brown is next. Hey, David.
David Brown.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Paul. So it's not really a question, but I was listening to the audio version of A Course in Miracles last night, and this idea came up that our will is God's will. And coming from a recovery mindset where, I'm praying, may God's will be done, not mine. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I understand it, but there's something there that's still like, it just isn't sitting right. And I was just wondering, what's your take on that? If you could riff on.
I would hold it the way it works. Yes. It's the only thing that is fooling and needs not to be fooled is you. So if you feel like there is a distinct sense called self-will, and you want another distinct sense called higher power or God's will, hold it that way. The dividing thing will always end up. Yes,
It's just hard to sometimes always know in the moment the distinction there.
Who says there's a need to know it? There's something behind the need to know it, because there's a belief that if I knew it, I'd have an advantage or something like that. Well, just follow who's that, and you'll see that which needs to know something is not you, Know that. That's the knowledge, It thinks it's going to open a door by knowing God's will or whatever. No. The door is wide open because there's no one there. Just see it. So use these opportunities not to further the acquiring of knowledge, but to ask, who is it? Who is it that believes everything would be much clearer if I knew what God will is and what's self's will? What you believe would occur by knowing that may be available by not being the knower of that, yes? By not having that drive to know, maybe the knowledge you're looking for through that drive to know. Once you get a flavor of it, you'll see it's seamless.
I feel like I have that sense sometimes, and then other times it gets murky. It doesn't feel like
but what observes when it's clear, and what observes when it's murky? There's the seeing. The awareness is there. Sometimes the awareness is seeing murkiness, sometimes it's seeing clearness, and there's a narration of the head of somehow being some kind of vague one there that's doing one of them and then wants to do the other one. But all of it's presented from the awareness. The awareness of the murkiness isn't murky, is it? And the awareness of the clarity is definitely clear, but it's not because of that. It's its nature. Its nature doesn't change when it's noticing all these changes. To me, that's the move, in a way, the no move. Because there'll be random combinations of these things: clear, murky, connected, disconnected, once had it, now lost it. Tons of these, it's like setting off a machine, and tons of combinations keep going around. But what's the primary number? They're all working on the primary number one, where we're introducing that the primary number is 0. So when you have the primary number 0 and you see murky, clear, you'll see it differently. Instead of trying to clear up the murky and amplify the clear, you'll see that differently. So that it'll be put to a different use. The murkiness and clear will tell you, hey, this is the dualistic. Hey, you're on a boat. Rocks this way and that. Of course, you wish you could solidify it, but you're in an ocean. Good luck. So now, well, how can I find a foundation? You are the foundation. Oh, but I thought a foundation would look like this. Well, you're mistaken. The foundation looks like this. How could that be? Well, it is. It's the way it goes. So your old ideas come and then they fall off the tree. Not your old ideas, the old ideas. And there you go.
It just gets, I'm stuck in doership where I'm still making decisions in life, and I'm like, what, there is that self that wants to know what the right decision is. There's that wanting to do the right thing, be in alignment, be in a flow with the damn thing. And like awareness is great, but it doesn't always tell me what to do. It doesn't make a decision for me. I'd still have to.
Maybe it's not as important as you think what to do.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, I think the awareness has allowed a lot of shit to be done. I mean, there's a lot of shit going on. The awareness isn't in a blackout. It seems to be quite neutral concerning what's going on. So just, just bring it back to the subject. Yeah, and then see that the subject ain't an object. Yeah, that's what
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a sticking point, I guess. But yeah, thanks. You did help
sticking
clarify.
point, yes, there's a sticking point. That's great value because you're not it. Yeah. I've had people come over and describe unbelievably clearly depression. Now, a large part of depression is being confused. So yet, in their description of it was an incredible amount of clarity because the clarity was not depressed. It wasn't. You may not have thought it was accessible, but it was your whole take on the depression was brought to you by clarity, not by you. You were the one in the fucking depression. What was the clarity about all that? Where's that from? Does it have a source, or is it the source? Does it have a source, or is it the source? Is it in a certain location that only opens up based on my condition? Or if I lose interest in my condition and my opinions, it becomes readily available. Which one? The head looks at it one way. What you're going to realize is the other way. Yeah. You're going to realize your interest to have things a certain way are really a huge influence in how you're reading them. Yeah. If you could come to peace or admit you can't and see just that you're not that, then maybe you'd be able to fit yourself around circumstances, like we say in recovery, instead of trying to fit everything around you. Yeah. And the joy of traveling lighter, you don't get points or gold stars. It's just the joy of traveling lighter. Yeah. It's a great relief not to be heavied out. Yeah. And obviously, the solution, and these are just terms, not absolute terms, and ways of imaging things. The solution is what informs you of the problem. The problem does not inform you of the solution. The solution informs you of the problem. So you see what you're not from what you're not, you see it from what you are. And you have seen everything from what you are. There's never, now what it was interpreted as or like may have been some other activity, but the seeing, that which illuminated it to be known was us, light, yeah? This is, you get to that point. It doesn't, you know, there's a thing with in psychiatry or psychology, whatever, they did the 100 monkey phenomena, where they did this experiment with monkeys on an island. And one monkey just came one day, realized they could use a tool to open up a coconut, something, yeah? And somehow or another, maybe it showed some other of the monkeys, but then the whole monkeys on that island got it. And then they witnessed the monkeys on another island that they could not connect or call or, you know, WhatsApp, saw the got it. Like it was a phenomenon. Like enough seemingly individual heads got something and it migrated. Yeah, this is a lot like the hearing of satsang. It hits, and then it's almost like a chia seed, yeah? You put it in water, it grows, yeah? It's just, the eye gets in there, yeah? And then, wow, and then it may be so much bigger than when you first heard it, yeah? this is how it happens with me, or did. When I would sit at satsang, I'd be listening, and then something would just whack, and one of them was, I'm never going to ask another question again, which I never did. One moved me out of a chair, and I never went back to that satsang, because I heard the guy's like a guy standing in the river selling water. I got it. Yeah, so I'm obviously in the river trying to buy water. I think I'll stop. Let's see what happens. Oh, you missed a great teacher. That's okay. That's fine. Oh, you should. I didn't see you. Oh, that's good. Cool. Having an experiment, so to speak. Yeah, because I believe somewhere in all of us, there's a convincing that's completely ready to be convinced. Yeah, it is. So like in a way, I interpreted satsang was like an unspoken yes. That's what it felt like. I heard it, and it was like an aha before anything I ever felt. And then it was like a knowledge before knowledge. Yeah, that kind of thing. And I didn't just immediately go like that. I just had faith in the process, let it do its thing. Went to a couple more satsangs, like some people, didn't like others. Read a book. I liked it so much, I went to see the guy in India just because he was old. Check him out. Thank you. And listened, and cooked it up. And then I saw a migration of interest. I didn't know. I thought that interest was going to be what was going to focus everything into clarity. It was actually the obscuring of everything, because it had a tendency to go myopic. When actually the nature of our mind, the mind is relaxed, open awareness, like the sky. What? Yeah. So no reliance on that, eh? And then blah, 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 interest migrated, and then it would inform me of different places that it migrated to. I'm sitting there. So I first started giving talks based on recovery. People would come to learn a fourth step inventory. I was giving satsang. Like, no need for pen or paper. There is a solution. So I got ostracized a lot from that. And then some person from website, we put out a video, got in touch with me, and I started going to spirituals. And I could see the spiritual addiction quite right out there. So, and then it just took me to this moment, really. Just have the eyes to see and the ears to hear. And then put it out there. What's the point? I feel there is a sense that you're moving through a current called time. It's either behind you, hitting you. Yes, that's the feeling of the action figure. Time is a huge ingredient here. Yeah, experience, obviously, in basic 101 Buddhism aren't that satisfying because they come and go. Yeah, you can't mind an experience. Like you ever sit on a plane where a guy tells you a 50-year-old memory, he's still in the act of being identified. I said, you're like 70 years old, you're not Little League anymore. You're not hitting the, what I mean? Upgrade the programming maybe a little bit. You milked as much as you could out of that. Let's move to greener pastures. Yes. So,
anything happened between then and now, please?
I used to have this happen to me once. San Francisco decided they did not want me to be in San Francisco. And so they gave me a deal. We'll buy you a bus ticket to any place in America, but you've got to get on that bus. Like we're going to have a social worker or a probation officer that's going to walk you to that fucking bus, and you're going. So I said, all right. I had an old friend that lived in Miami, and I said, that's the farthest place I can go pretty much from here. I said, all right. So I had nothing. I had a black t-shirt, suit, the black jeans. I was a new waiver, so to speak. Yes, little hipster. Got on the bus. The first leg was to San Antonio, pretty much. Yeah, and so I was sitting there, and there was a guy behind me, and these people got on, And the guy told his life story, like about 3 hours, 4 hours. Now, I didn't ever turn my back. I wanted to see in my head what I would think he looked like, yeah? So I went, and I had to hear it, because the consciousness is there. So 4 hours, 3 hours, we get somewhere, everyone gets off, new people come in, some new people sit with the same guy, he goes off again. Same fucking story, 3 fucking hours. I just can't wait, can't wait. So finally we get somewhere, the bus opens and I take a look at the dude. He got off and he didn't look like I thought he did, but I mean, it was the same. Just the mental, it's addicted to identifying. It just is. If it's got an old story, that will do. Just keep identifying with that old story. Keep identifying with the house or the car or the money or whatever like that. Now, this is going to go on. That doesn't mean the identification is going on. There's an identifying going on a lot, but it doesn't mean there's an identification going on. This is the difference. Yeah, this is where the message is the wedge. You're not going to change that act of identifying, because that's what the head does. You're going to see you're not the one. Yeah, that's where the freedom lies. The freedom does not lie, in my view, with things changing. Yeah. Because we're living based on a change already. The mental states claiming has changed everything. We're just telling the truth about that. Yeah. We're telling the truth because you can sense life before the conception of you. I don't mean you as a being, body, but the idea of Paul. There's a whole living before that. Yes? Yeah. Come to satsang, you'll get reinforced, hopefully. And after a while, it will be obvious and familiar, more will get revealed, and you'll end up traveling lighter and you'll be of service to wherever you are, with absolutely no thought or effort involved in it, pretty much. And you'll probably leave pretty much like you came in, with nothing. Hopefully as nothing. Yeah. Who knows? So, yeah. So anyone else? I don't know where that started me with that one, but I remember I had to peel those pants off after 3.5 days on the bus. And I disappointed my friend. I got drunk. As soon as I got off the bus, I fell down coming out of the bar, and he was super pissed. Jimmy Wilk. He wanted me out of his house as fast as I got there. You would think I probably made 30 vows on the way that things were going to be different. I had no power whatsoever. I was just being used for transportation, basically. Yeah. So, yep. Anyone?
No, but I wanted to add a fact check that the 100th monkey system is actually historical myth.
What?
It's actually historical myth, like one of the most common repeated things. It didn't actually happen, but it's interesting that it became such a popular notion in consciousness that it's more significant that way.
Fuck you, Mike.
I'm sorry, it's even on Wikipedia now, so.
Bad ideas and now I see them on TV.
Oh, it's the 101 monkey.
Oh, darn.
All right, thank you. I guess.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah. Your present was going to be coming. I think I could put it to better use.
I don't think he wanted a monkey.
The 101st monkey. I'm bringing him to the meeting next week. Yeah, I'm going to hear it from the monkey's mouth. Yeah. All right. Anyone else?
No hands. No.
Anyone else? Is anyone here like an unknown child of mine from the past? Let's break it all down. Do I have to pay for college now? I don't even know the kid. All right. Well, listen. Okay, let me say goodbye. I'm going to skip Mike though. Let's go, Kathleen. Lovely to see you, Kathleen. Yeah, confused and happy. John, nice to see you, John. Yeah. The next book is going to be The 101 Monkeys. The incomplete works of Zen Bitch Stuff. You're gonna sign it, Mike. Little Churchman, always a pleasure. Kathleen, there she is. We got John Connolly. Nice to see you again, John. Gary Clark, as always. Yes. We got Robert French. Nice to see Robert. Robert is hatless today. Yes. We got Vlad, my main man in Portugal, I think. Yes. Nice to see you, bro. Troy B. Is that it or Tony? Let me see. I think it's Troy. Whatever. I can't see. Tony? He can't either. All right. Tariq, I know Tariq. I know where Tariq lives in Dover, New Jersey. And Anu, always a pleasure. See you soon, I hope, honey. Angie, as always, yes. I bow down the Taj. John, I hear you're going to be coming sooner or later to America. John W. Yeah. All right. Bruce, as always. We got Sean. Yeah, hold on. Nice to see you, Sean. Stick with us, bro. Yeah. We got Lisa J. Nice to see you again, Lisa. We got Mia from San Diego. Yes, she is. Yeah. We got Mia. Michael Sherman. Let's see. Oh, we got Johannes. Fantastic. We got Giorgio T. He's very comfy there. Lisa also. Nice to see you, Lisa. Thank you for the call today. Mickey, the matriarch of Madeira. Yes, there's Mickey. There's Leah here. Yeah.
Hi, Leah. Thanks, Paul.
Yeah. We got Chris G. He's back at the gateless gate. Keep an eye out for him. Esther. Mike C. David B. Nice to see you, David. Roman, as always. Justin, there he is. We got Zoe from Arkansas. Nice to see you, Joey. I hope you're not going into the forest and hunt some things today, no? No. I already have no, I don't want to go there. Alan O. I don't want to get in trouble at the end. Al B from Vegas. Miranda, Oliver from Berlin, Susan K, Mandy, Senna. I think I got Justin. Yes, Justin, nice to see you again. Let's see if we have any more. That's what they all say. Great first time. Now the pressure's on. All right. Hey, listen, thank you so much for everyone who supports the Zen Bitch Slap. Very much appreciated. All the people who do the service, very much appreciated. Very much appreciate the community and this opportunity. Yeah, so thanks. See you, everyone.